Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on News Radio 1040 WHO.
When I talk about Iowa having a workforce shortage, some of you will text me on the WCI Pools and Spas text line, 515-989-1040, and say, but Jeff, they're still not hiring folks like me because I'm older, even with the workforce shortage. Now, is age discrimination still a factor in hiring? Let's talk to Michael Nadeau, who is a hiring expert. He's the founder and CEO of Cnect, which empowers hiring teams to find great candidates for their jobs. Michael's on the Davison Family Dentistry Newsmaker line. Michael, welcome to WHO Radio. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Now, age discrimination's tough to prove, Michael, but do you suspect it's still going on out there? What are your thoughts?
Well, it's 100% real. And, to pretend that it's not real, we would just be kidding ourselves. And the things like inherent bias that people have is just a true fact of life. And it's something that's always going to exist. It's something that employers are going to build talk tracks around, but it is the real deal.
So I'm sitting across, because I'm an older guy, Michael. Thank goodness I'm not out of a job. But, let's play this scenario, man. I'm sitting across from a person, and they're talking to me and they're looking at my resume, and they're thinking about hiring me. What's going through their mind, though? What concerns are going through their mind because of my age?
Well, listen, I think it happens on both sides of the equation, too. It's always easy to jump to you're looking at it from the elder side, but you can also look at it from the younger side, right? Meaning, they have no experience. Typical young adult today, by the time they're 30, has 3 or 4 jobs. So what's going through their mind, which the one thing that should be going through every hiring manager, every employer's mind is this person the right fit for my company? Is this person going to fit into our culture? And do we have chemistry as a person? And I think that's the big flaw in hiring today, is that we're using an archaic method to get to know people. We're using resumes. They don't really tell a story. They're just a history report of where we've been, but they don't really tell anything about the person. So I think it's important for everyone to understand that, listen, an employer's got to know who you are. Tell me about yourself. And, use you as an example. If you ever were to get a job, you would send your reels of your work, and people would get to know your authentic self. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with hiring today, is that we're relying on an outdated method to tell our story.
You listen to Michael Nadeau on the News Radio 1040 WHO. So, Michael, often, like you said, often when we submit a resume, we put our history on there. I don't want people to lie on their resumes, but can you alter it in a way that doesn't emphasize your age? For example, should I not put my graduation date on the resume, or do different things which would cause an employer just to kind of toss it because they got that implicit bias you were talking about?
Sure. And look, I could tell you all the tactics and all the things that you could do to potentially get yourself the next step. And I'll give you an example. I saw a resume a couple of years ago. I saw a digital profile come in. We call them digital profiles in today's world. And I did. I ran through the person's experience, and I looked down and I saw that they graduated high school in 1987. Well, I graduated high school in 1991. So I could do the quick math and said, well, this guy's probably 52 years old. And I immediately went through my head, is he going to fit into the culture here? Because there's a lot of 25 to 30-year-old younger people here in the office. And I made this instant judgment. I made a bias. But what happened was, in our platform, we allow people to actually tell their story. So I was able to click on a button and hear this person speak in an introductory video, a first impression video. And all of a sudden I said, that's the type of person that would fit here. And so the problem with leaving dates off and doing all these things, most jobs, 90+% of all jobs, you're going to have to be interviewed, right? So at some point, you're going to have to be your authentic self. And why not do it in the most streamlined and efficient way possible to give yourself a chance? But also, one of the things that really stinks about hiring is the lack of feedback, applying and not knowing where you sit in the queue. And so why not just cut to the chase? Why don't we just streamline and modernize this and allow people to tell their story? And if somebody doesn't want you because you're 55 years old or 65 years old and you don't want to work there anyway, it's not going to be the right fit.
Well, it's interesting, Michael. You could fall into a trap because you keep saying be your authentic self, which I totally agree with. But if you've got in your head, oh, I want to fit into this culture, it could be easy to be a little bit phony about that. Try to figure out what the culture is and then not be your authentic self. People that are looking into you, they're going to pick up on that, aren't they?
Right, just like they would pick up on things like, wow, I didn't realize you graduated from high school in 1954.
Yeah.
You seem to have left that off your resume. So listen, the interview, let's call the interview process what it really is, right? The interview process is to find out if it's a fit. This is matchmaking 101, right? Do we want to hang out together every single day? Right? Do we have similarities? And so, look, there are jobs where we just need a skill set. We need people to come in and do specific work, but you have to learn about a person. And I believe the interviewing process is just broken and flawed. We rely on archaic methods like sending a PDF or a Word document in that summarizes yourself. Someone's got to interpret that. It takes on average 2.5 hours to schedule a first interview. And think about how painful that is for an employer, only to know in 30 seconds, this isn't a good fit. And not just on the employer side, but on the applicant side as well. So what if you could use modern technology and say, hey, I'm Michael Nadeau. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I love building technology solutions. And boom, within seconds, you get to know who I am.
Yeah.
And then start exchanging the way we talk today. We text each other, we send emails, and start using a more modern approach to getting to know each other and make it better for people.
Michael Nadeau, he is the CEO and founder of Cnect, a hiring expert, and of course his company uses a lot of the techniques that he was just telling you about, which is why it's great to talk to him on this particular issue. Michael, thanks very much for joining me on this program.